First of all, before I talk about this game, I just want to send my love, thoughts to Al Bueller and his family. I had a class my freshman year with Al, and I remember his office, his corner of Cameron, and we talk all sports. We talk. He'd obviously tell me about his history, but we talked the game of basketball. He was a great man, a great person for Duke University. So my thoughts are with him and his family. Obviously tonight was a really tough ACC game. Jeff had his team really ready to play. They compete. They're really together. Thought they made some really difficult shots that knocked us back in the first half. And I'm just really proud of our team, the way we fought and competed in the second half. That to me is what it's all about, being a Duke basketball player, being a Duke basketball team. Our rebounding was huge. And then I thought in the second half, our switching and our defense, I don't know what the exact numbers were, but we held them to 10 or so points for a while there in the second half. So proud of the effort. I thought everybody on our team stepped up. The foul trouble was tough late, trying to figure out when to go back with guys. And fortunately for us, we've had players that are ready at all times to come off the bench and step up. So happy to answer any questions.
What was the difference in, you mentioned the switching, can you walk us through the decision to go to the switching, and why did you think that was so much more effective than some of the top?
Well, one, they've been giving people problems in pick and roll, and they space you really well. They have many guys that can create off the bounce, and so when you put two on the ball, they get you in rotations, and it's very difficult. They do a great job of sharing it, and so for us, with our personnel, we felt like this was actually going to be a coming out game for Derek, because we've envisioned switching with him, and he made some big time plays in this game. And his switching, I thought, really bothered them. Naturally you try to go at the five, but we felt like there was an advantage for us. And so, coaches coming up with the game plan, and we'll see if this is something we do often or not. But to have that in our pocket is a valuable thing, where they're not, instead of them running offense, they end up playing one-on-one. And sometimes they're going to hit, but other times, if we stay disciplined, it's tough to make those shots over our lane.
Jon, given the quality of Pitt's play and the degree to which you were behind, Proctor's in foul trouble, 16 down, was the second half, was this maybe your most satisfying half of the year?
It was up there for sure. It was up there. It's I think what's exciting about this is we had some things that didn't go our way. They hit some tough shots. We didn't. Obviously, we were careless with the ball in that first half, and so to come out of this during a game, it's NC State, that run, we weren't able to get out of it. Early in the year, Kansas, we did. That was probably another game we did. We just didn't close. But to know that we can do this, you're down 11. We got back pretty quick in the game, and I just thought we showed a tremendous amount of heart and learned a lot about ourselves tonight.
What was the difference in your offense with Proctor on the floor and then without him for a long time after the two fouls?
Yeah, well, he's done a great job of just running the team. He's really easy to play with. He obviously made some big scoring plays down the stretch, but when your guard has 5 assists and no turnovers, it's pretty good. And he just makes it easy for other guys. I think that's the biggest thing that he does. And had a calming influence. And when I don't know what his, plus minus was, really good, but just he's in control of the team. I think that's the biggest thing that he did, and he really competed and guarded on the defensive end.
Jon, nobody's asked about the freshman who had 28 points, 15 rebounds, and drew 8 fouls. Talk a little bit about Flip.
Yeah, Flip was great tonight. He hasn't played as well, and he's been a difference maker for us when he's at his peak. It's a game changer. He puts a lot of pressure on the defense. Obviously the way he can attack the basket. It's good for him to see a 3 go down tonight, because we still feel like those are great shots for us, and we want him shooting those. But just his determination on the boards. To have 15 rebounds, against them, I know they've been right there statistically rebounding with other teams. And so for Flip to do that against a veteran team like them is a big deal.
Could you talk a little bit about Lively's play in the second half? You mentioned, he not only did he score a tie game, but he had assists, he had a block. Looking next to Kyle, he had the best, he had a plus 16.
Right. Yeah, we were better when he was in the game. And, I thought for Derek, he had some fun tonight. you know, and you come here and there's a lot of expectations. You know, he wants to do really well, and so you end up, I'm not saying overthink, but you end up putting this pressure on yourself. And you know, Derek, I'm just proud of, he just went after it tonight. That's all we ask, and I'm happy for him that it translated into a really successful game. It would have been even better if we can just keep him out of foul trouble. That's something we have to work on, and we can help him with, you know, to do a better job. But his defense, there's some, I mean, just when you look at switching defense, you know, and you want to YouTube it or, you know, look it up, like what Derek did and how he did it, you know, was so impressive. And I'm proud of him for getting the ball inside and going up and finishing. That changes our team if he does that.
Without Jeremy, what did you like about Tyrese this night? I mean, has anything changed in terms of Jeremy's status for this week?
No, Jeremy's, you know, unless something crazy changes, he won't be available for Saturday either. We want to make sure that he's back 100% before he comes back. And, but the thing we talked about is we're man down still, so we have to step up even more. And really, I thought everybody did that. Tyrese, the job that he did was, you know, to be a freshman in this game and have, you know, 5 assists and no turnovers is a big deal for us. And, you know, as a team, we have to, 13 and 17 isn't good enough. But for Tyrese, he just got us under control, and we're going to need him to continue to do that even when Jeremy comes back.
John, maybe it's an oversimplification, but do you feel like your team grew up a lot in the second half tonight?
I hope so. You know, I think we'll know that for sure, you know, with how we come out on Saturday. And I can tell you this much, I feel we learned something. I think we learned what it takes to beat a really good team at this point in the year. Playing in January is different than playing in November. And then, you know, we're down double digits. And so knowing we can fight our way back, you know, we just play every possession on defense. And I know it sounds really simple, but I think for us it is, playing really hard on defense and then just sharing it on offense. Just trusting that it'll come to you, to me was the difference of the game. You know, there's too many one-pass possessions in the first half. Too many times we just gave them the ball. And not only does it give them baskets, but it also gives them a ton of confidence. So, you know, I think we learned that tonight.
Was there any reason you opted to go switching maybe instead of zone? Once Pitt gets rolling early in pick and roll, you kind of went to zone against State maybe when they had a similar start, maybe in Boston College. What pushed you to go keeping it man-to-man and switch as opposed to going to zone?
For me, it was watching the Syracuse game. You know, I mean, like I've known Jeff for a long time, and you know, me and him have had many conversations about zone defense, and just watching what they've done against Syracuse, and their shooting scared me. I mean, they're making the most threes in our league, and so for us, with the personnel that we had, we felt like man was the better option for tonight. But still, the zone is going to be something we go to. It's a good defense for us to have with our lane.
John, Jeff said that he thought that you guys really fed off the crowd in the second half. That's what got you going. How much does that help the young team, and how do you kind of bottle that, get that on the road without that out there?
Yeah, well, one, I'll talk about what it did for us tonight, and I thought it was just like a vintage Cameron night. You know, I thought it was just, the crowd was special. I think there's a few times the whole place is standing, and, you know, I'm talking to the team in the huddles. It was the first time in Cameron where the team couldn't hear me. And there's been many moments with, you know, Coach K, and that's happening where somebody's 2 feet away, you can't hear. And we got to that level tonight. So I'll tell you, for me, for our guys, especially for all of us though as a team, it makes a difference when our fans show up, which they always do. But I thought they were at just such a high level tonight, and as a group, we're going to have to fight for everything. I want, you know, everybody that's in the building to feel they're a part of that fight, because they are. So they did a lot for us. And then just obviously how we have to translate it to the road, we have to bring our own energy. And something we did against Boston College. You have to handle runs that other teams make, but I think that's naturally the next step for us to do it again on the road.
You mentioned Tyrese from the team. He said that even the last 2 weeks, he's feel like he's been a lot more comfortable doing that. Is that just a matter of him needing the time to get comfortable? Is there something else you've done to help enable that?
I think it's probably a combination of all the above. we took Tyrese out of the starting lineup, about 2 weeks ago. And, he had a great attitude with how he responded. I think for our group too, just the accountability the way our guys have responded. We've had different starting lineups. We've had different lineups during games. And Tyrese, I thought the end of the NC State game, he actually played with a big edge, in the second half. It just probably wasn't noticeable because it was, not close. And so for him, just confidence-wise, I think he's realized he can play with anybody. And, for me, I'll take that matchup any day of the week. And, I want him to stop now. He's got to keep developing, keep growing, and just for each one of these guys, we have to do that.
One or two more, please. Did Emile say anything to you to cool things down a little bit early on in the game?
If he did, I didn't hear him.
To cool things down. I was curious if he said anything.
Yeah, he probably did, but I didn't. I didn't hear him at that time.
Okay.
Yeah.
With you guys switching, we talked how Derek Lively handled the guards. How do you think your guards did against the Pitt front court guys? Because obviously Tyrese,
Right.
Jalen, those guys have got to go into Bosa Blattle, Blake Hinson. That doesn't sound like a lot of fun. So how do you think those guys handled that tonight?
They did a really good job. They did a good job of not just playing behind inside. Hinson has been a guy that can expose mismatches, and really, we fouled him one time, but that wasn't. He really didn't do anything. The biggest thing when you switch, you need a rebound. So our guards, they got in, doing the dirty work, making sure they blocked out. You're not going to get the rebound, but they put their bodies on Federico and their bigs, which allowed our wings to crack down, which to me was the biggest and most important thing.
All right.